Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to take out these screws right here. Now after you have these two bolts out here, we're just going to come up underneath here with a pair of needle nose pliers. You can use, I use these all the time. You're not going to damage the line if you're careful, but you could always slide a rubber hose over this if you wanted to, but believe me, I've been doing this forever. It doesn't cause any problem. You're just going to put it on there just to crush it just a little bit. You're not going to make it real tight, just enough to stop the flow of a brake fluid. All right, next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take out that brake, the brake line where it connects on, and that's the one that's the 14 millimeter. So we just take that off the back of the caliper. This is the bolt here. Now this we're just going to put on the side. It may come with the new bolt, I'm not really sure. Now we're going to take out these two bolts, this one here and the one on the bottom.
Yes, you probably could hear it.
Okay, you can just leave it there. Okay, so now we drained out all the fluid from the caliper. It makes less of a mess if you have it drained out. And that's where the hose connected onto on the back of the caliper. So, all right, we'll put this off to the side right now and then we'll continue. We're going to take off that mounting bracket. The brake pads themselves are now trash. All right, and we're going to take out that the 17 millimeter here and here. The 17 millimeter right there, right here I should say, and there's the other one down right over here too. And then we're going to take that mounting bracket off the car, and then that's trash. The slide pin on the other side, which is right up in here, is what's frozen. This one is actually pretty tight as well. Not frozen, but it's pretty tight, so we are going to change that as well. Now we're going to save the bolts, but the bracket itself is no good. All right, now we're going to take that rotor off. Hit it here a couple times and it'll pop right off. So. Now you want to make sure that this part of the hub itself has no rust on it. Take the time and make sure that. Now the new rotor itself, you know, it comes with that oily film on it. It's very important that you clean that film off on there. So that's what we're going to do. Put the rotor back on, making sure that these two bolts here line up like that. Now we'll take the screws and we'll screw them both in. And now we're just going to take this mounting bracket here, and we have to make sure that we install the hardware kit that came with it. And you just put it over the top just like that, and you push it down just like that. Same thing on this one here. Just push it over the top, push it in, just like that, and now the hardware is mounted on there, just like that. All right, now we are going to take a little bit of the brake grease, and we're going to put it every place that the brake pad touches, just like that. Okay? And now we'll go back to the car, we'll put this back onto the car itself. So, we'll take it just like this, and we're going to put our screws back through here and here. Now before we tighten up one of the screws, we make sure both screws are caught where they belong. Now both screws have to be in that mounting bracket before you tighten it up. Okay, so now once you have both of these bolts snug in there, then you can tighten them up nice and tight. All right, next thing we're going to do now is we're going to put our brake pads in here. All right, so now we're going to put the brake pad in, We're going to slide this one in the back. We know it's the back shoe because you can see the indentation of the piston touching into it. And now we're going to take this new caliper and put it back onto the vehicle. Now, before we put it back on the vehicle, every place that the brake pad is going to touch, I just put a little bit of grease, just like this, on here, and on this side as well, and here too. Every place that the brake pad is going to touch on the caliper, you put a little bit of the synthetic grease. And then we'll just put this over the top, just like this. And then we're going to catch both top and bottom bolts before we tighten anything. Okay, now once we have both bolts caught, now we can tighten them up. Okay, so now we have both the top and bottom bolt are tight. We're going to install, it came with a new bolt for the caliper. Make sure you always use the new bolt because the threads could be a little bit different. And what you do is you put on one of the washers, one of the copper washers, on like that, and then you take this and you put it through here like this, and you put this other copper washer on this side right here, like that. And now I'm going to take it and screw it into the back of the caliper. Let me catch it and I'll show you what I mean. That's how the brake line goes. You have your copper washer right there. You have your other copper washer right there. This part of the brake line has to go into that little notch up on top right there. Just like that, right through there. And now we're going to snug this down here and tighten it up. Now you want to tighten that bolt up. You don't want to over tighten it and strip it out. So we're just going to screw it down until it touches. Okay, that's it. I'm going to take our lock pliers off. All right, then we're going to open up the bleeder valve here. We're going to let the brake fluid bleed out a little bit. Then we'll bleed all the wheels all the way around, and this job will be done and out the door and on to the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.